What is the WXV Global Series? Hello, I'm Tash, and this is another episode of Her Side of the Ruck. And International Women's Rugby is soon to be back with us, and I am so excited for the revised format of WXV taking place from September to October. So if you love watching women's rugby, then WXV will definitely be for you. But for this year, it has taken a little bit of a shake-up. So I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know ahead of WXV Global Series taking place in 2026. Preparation for the Women's 2029 Rugby World Cup has meant that some of the international setup has taken a little bit of a shift. Previously in WXV, we had a different system to the format that we will see going forward. So, what is the WXV Global Series? Well, it's split into two tiers in its new format. In the top tier, you have the 12 top ranked teams in the world that will play each other from 2026 up to 2028. The 12 top ranked teams will play each other home and away in a cross regional tour, see women's rugby exposed to even more people, continuing the legacy from the 2025 Rugby World Cup. The second part of the WXV Global Series will be in the form of a Challenger Tour, which will take place in Hong Kong with six other nations, fast-growing women's rugby nations that will fight it out in Hong Kong over a 3-week period in a Challenger Series. So, how is this different to the previous WXV structure? The last time WXV took place was in 2024, and it usually happens towards the end of the Northern Hemisphere summer or the end of the Southern Hemisphere winter. As many of you recall, this was when the Rugby World Cup happened in 2025. So, of course, WXV was last played in 2024. Previously, WXV ran as a three-tiered tournament and was played across 2023 and 2024, with the winners of WXV3 and WXV2 being promoted to the higher ranked WXV tier, and the sixth place team would get demoted to the tier below them. Each of those tiers have been divided into 6 teams, and the pools split in the half, so 3 teams in each pool. I think this format in theory was great because I really like promotion and relegation, and we don't really see that particularly in the domestic leagues of rugby union. But because this format only had like 2 years to run, we didn't really get to see it spread its wings and potentially see its full potential. But that's the past structure. Just wanted to fill you in on I suppose, the legacy of WXV and how that has now changed with this new global series. The WXV Global Series in 2026 kicks off on the 12th of September in Salford, where the Red Roses host Australia. The rest of the competition will take place across an 8-week period. There are some other big clashes in this 8-week period, particularly France versus New Zealand in Lyon, Wales versus South Africa, and a Rugby World Cup final repeat between England and Canada. The 6 teams playing in the 3-week Challenger Tour taking place in Hong Kong are Fiji, Hong Kong, China, the Netherlands, Samoa, Spain, and Brazil. I think breaking it down with a Challenger Tour and a 12 top-ranked teams, I think will definitely create more competitive games. World Rugby have come out with comms on that themselves. I also think a 3-week Challenger Tour in Hong Kong, which is the heart of the Sevens Tour as well. It also attracts a new audience to the 15s game. Both the 2 tiers in the WXV Global Series will help all of these nations aim to qualify for the 2029 Rugby World Cup. More rugby also means more growth for the women's game, more eyes on the game, more opportunity for players to get international experience. So, what does WXV Global Series mean for rugby fans? The obvious one, more rugby. The second one, more competitive rugby, as I've already touched on. The Challenger Series and the top-ranked 12-team cross-regional tours should offer more competitive matches for nations and help develop the competitive nature of these games. Coaches can learn a lot more from it, so can players. But also it means for fans that they're not going to watch a very one-sided game, which we saw in parts in the pool stages of the 2025 Rugby World Cup. For supporters in England, the Global Series will be taking place across England and not just at the Allianz in Twickenham. The fact that the first match is taking place in Salford unlocks that northwestern regional audience. Yes, there will be a clash at the Allianz in Twickenham between the Red Roses and the Black Ferns, which I am super excited to say that I am going to, and I cannot wait for that game. But it just opens up the accessibility of these matches to a wider audience in different regions. That strategic choice, I think, is also coming from the success of the 2025 Rugby World Cup that saw different games spread across England. The locality and the fact that it's played as a tour, they're playing in loads of different countries, but it also means that there's a greater accessibility in terms of the visuals of the game, whether you go in person or you're watching on TV. And with that will come increased engagement. Even when you look at the ticket prices for some of these matches, when I was looking at getting tickets to go to the Allianz to watch the Red Roses versus the Black Ferns, a single adult ticket started at £25. And for me and two of my family members to go to this match, it cost us under the price of one ticket to go to the Gallagher Prem final in 2026 if you just wanted a comparative price point. So it was over triple the price to go watch the final of a domestic men's rugby competition when the three of us are going to watch an international test match between two iconic and two of the top best nations in the women's game. Cheaper tickets means that more people from diverse backgrounds can go and watch the game that I love and so many of you love as well. But I do have a couple of criticisms of the new format. My main criticism being, is the new revised format slightly too complicated? We've often seen how rugby loves to do this chopping and changing. And I know with a lot of the rule changes, it's to do with player welfare, the safety of the game, or to speed up the game to make it more interesting to new rugby fans. I love rugby union games in all formats, but I do understand that rugby union has been criticised before for being slow, being lots of restarts and not being as quick. But I think the women's game has always been pretty fast and has always lent towards attack and fluid attack as well. But I think that was more of maybe a criticism of the men's game. But World Rugby have obviously chopped and changed its rules and stuff. One, for player welfare, and two, to make the game more enticing to new viewers. Whilst I do think the revised format for WXV Global Series means that there will be fewer one-sided games, it's not the simplest of explanations to say to a new fan, hence why I'm making this video. It's not like the Six Nations where everyone plays each other once, then the following year you have the reversed home or away fixture, or you're going on a rugby tour and you're just playing the same team in different areas of that country. What I also thought was a bit complicated with the timings as well. This series is being played across 3 years, 2026, 27 and 28. If you've been in tune with the women's game, you will probably know that there is the inaugural Women's British and Irish Lions Tour to New Zealand in 2027. So what does that mean for the nations partaking in the WXV Global Series? It looks like those nations, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England and New Zealand, won't be participating in WXV games in 2027 because that's too much rugby, player welfare, and there is only a limited playing pool for a lot of these respective countries. So I get the idea behind having the 3 year series, but it seems a bit like World Rugby's trying to do a bit too much here. My other criticism of having a 6 game tour or games over an 8 week period, whatever it may be, is that it could be disadvantaging the nations that have smaller playing pools, particularly if a large number of their players get injured or ill or for whatever reason cannot play. I'm thinking of countries like Scotland, Wales, the USA. I mean, in the Women's Six Nations in 2026, we saw Scotland with a very injury-heavy side. Like a lot of big names weren't playing. Rachel Malcolm got injured during the competition. Lisa Thompson was long-term injured, came back, then got injured in a Scotland training camp. So they lost a lot of their big names and plenty of, I suppose, the old guard of Scottish rugby retired either after the World Cup or just before the World Cup. If you think about a squad size like the Black Ferns or the Red Roses, if they get injured, they've got plenty of players and plenty of transition players on professional contracts as well who are there to fill the boots of anyone who gets injured. So some of these other rugby nations that haven't had the same financial backing and infrastructure that the Red Roses have had, playing lots of rugby that could cause a lot of their squad getting injured, I suppose that's always the risk with this beautiful game, could advantage the top teams that already are ranked very highly on the world stage. I do think this new format is great, and I think it will be great for fans. And I do think it will be great for the players and the coaches for even more international exposure. It does create a narrative behind having these games, but I just think that story and the organisation of it is a little bit too complicated. As always, you can let me know your thoughts about anything on Her Side of the Ruck in the comments section. But yeah, I think this is a great new format, but it is just a little bit complicated. It's even complicated for someone like myself who works in rugby full time, who creates videos in her spare time on Her Side of the Ruck. It's not an easy format to understand. And I've also seen this on a couple of the countries' social media. They've had to put step by step graphics of how the tournament works. So to me, that says it's not the easiest of formats to understand. So I do hope in this video that I've cleared some of those things up and you have a greater understanding of what the WXV Global Series looks like. All on-field opportunities create off-field opportunities, whether that's your first time going to an international match, whether you work professionally in the industry like myself. It's great for creatives, for people who work in sponsorship, people who work in venue operations, anything like that. It is great for the game overall, and more rugby is never a bad thing in my eyes. If you have any further questions or comments about WXV Global Series, let me know down in the comment section. I will do my best to answer them in detail where possible, but I am still also familiarizing myself with this new format of WXV. Thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, make sure that you share it with your friends, your family, and any other rugby lovers. I am Tash. I'm going to say ciao for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.